Short about Mountain Meadow in West Virginia where I live, and a lot of the wildflowers died. I just got bored and decided to make something about it. They had their time. There's black-eyed Susans. There's lots of them around here. In the early spring, we have the fairy circles or fairy flowers. There are a lot of nice different plants around. My lawnmower broke, but I usually don't mow all the time because I like seeing the flowers and the butterflies and the bees. There's a little bit of Queen Anne's lace. There's a horse nettle. I'm going to have to chop that out of here. They're a pain in the butt if they get started. I got there's some yarrow that dried up and lived its life. Yarrow plant. More Queen Anne's lace. A little bit of, I think that's called plantain weed. Some of that there. Black-eyed Susans, but they've seen better days. I got tons of them up here. There's some milkweed. That's milkweed there. You see, that milk comes out of it. And there's blue-eye grass. There's lots of that up here. And if you run, that'll cut your ankles. It's called blue-eye grass. That's some kind of wild berry, but the rabbits eat all the berries. I think it's called creeping blackberry. But up here, it's nice. I got deer come in, nibble on the stuff, and rabbits. I think it's kind of like their medicine. This little meadow, they come nibble on this and that, make them better. There's a lot of orchard grass up here because there used to be a lot of old orchards up in this area. And here's another common one right there. That's wood sorrel. If you chew on a few leaves, it tastes like lemon. Like really strong like lemon. And it's getting to the end. This is August 16th. It's getting to the end of its season as well. But it has really pretty yellow flowers on it. And it has a lemon taste. And a lot of chicory up here. The chicories come to the end of its season too. There's a lot of chicory up here. There's so much I have to cut it down. Now this one here it's reaching the end of its season too. This is called Joe Pye weed. And the butterflies love it. And I have some in the backyard over 8 feet tall. That one right there, the biggest one, that's about 7 feet tall. Well, about as tall as me. It's about 6.5, 7 feet tall. And that one there, I think, is called ironweed. So, yeah, Mountain Meadow butterflies love that stuff. And a lot of goldenrod. I had so much goldenrod up here, I had to cut a lot of it down. But I like my wildflowers, but I mow, but I don't mow too hard. But if you don't mow, here come the trees, and here's this big bush here don't have the flowers this time of year. But this one here is called, what is that? Carolina sweet shrub. And it got these really sweet smelling flowers that hummingbirds like. And it's the funniest looking flowers, and it smells like Kool-Aid. When this thing's blooming, I can smell it in the house. And of course the grapevines, there's tons of wild grapes up here and they do very well. So I got to keep the grapevines because the grapevines will choke any shrub out of here. Unless it's locust scrub. I built a hedge, but it's been a hot summer so I have not been able to trim my hedge. That's a gum tree. That's good for the land. It's not a very handy tree, but it holds water and moisture in the soil. That thing is full of water. That's like a cactus. That's full of water. And there's some oak trees, really big oak trees, and I'm just kind of proud about up in here. And yeah, well, that's all I have to report on today, and just showing off my YouTube. Put it on my YouTube channel. Now here's a funny one. I never had poison ivy up here. Okay. And I hauled in a bunch. Someone gave me a couple truckloads of millings. Like this ground up road so straight. And I put it up here, and I put about most of it on the road, but it got taken over by poison ivy, because poison ivy loves oil, and it's the oil in that attracts the poison ivy. And if you ever have a patch of poison ivy and try to dump motor oil on it to kill it, it only makes it stronger. So maybe this winter, I don't know, I'll spray it or put a brush fire on it. Probably just spray it real good and try to use this stuff up this winter. I mean, that's about 10 tons there. And the poison ivy, that's the only place in the land it grows. It's right on top of the millings. And here's some young red bud. There's a lot of red bud up here. It's pretty in the spring. It's pretty all year. There's red bud, a lot of sassafras in the mountain meadow. There's wild grapes. There's some yellow flower, I don't know what it is. Yeah, well, living up in the woods is nice. And yeah, well, one last shot. Here's some nice Queen Anne's lace that's growing. A type of wild carrot, I guess. I don't know. I don't think you can eat them, but they're really pretty. And this is small. They get a lot bigger. They're all up through there, but I mowed a lot bigger than them down. Well, anyway, I hope someone can enjoy this video. I didn't mean for it to be that long. All right. Have a good day. Goodbye.